I am Heidi Benjaminson, your host of Confidence Coaching, a podcast for mothers who want solid relationships with their teens. Life isn't a spectator sport. Success comes to those who show up every day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. I'm glad you're here. Hello. Welcome to episode 137, The Power of Good Questions, or connecting with questions, or how to ask good questions. I have to tell you, every time I sit down and work more on this episode, it has a different title. Basically, I'm going to be talking to you about how to ask really good questions, why it's important to ask really good questions, how to get a bunch off of my website, and why all of that matters. Okay. How are you all? Have you survived the end of school whirlwind? I swear, June is just like December. It's a lot for everyone. Be you the student, the parent, the supportive aunt or friend, so much. It's all so good, and yet we all breathe a sigh of relief when it is over. I hope you have sunny, lazy beach days ahead like I do. I've been thinking a lot about the power of asking questions, how asking the right questions with the right framework and know how to listen and believe whatever the answer is such a powerful and underrated skill, a skill that can really strengthen relationships if done well and can strain relationships if never developed or done poorly. I've put together a free resource of 100 questions to ask your teens that's available on my website. Go to HeidiBenjaminson.com and click on the top button. I think it says 100 questions. Enter your email and you'll get immediate access to the list, and I'll email the PDF to you for future reference as well. These are 100 fun, thoughtful, and inquisitive questions. Just look it over and ask one a day to your teen or spouse. The questions are just to get your mind working, and then you'll come up with more. Today, I want to share a bit about the power of asking questions and some tips so you can get your teens talking to you. Y'all, in general, we aren't good question askers, and we aren't naturally good listeners. It takes work to calm our brain from thinking about how we'd respond or thinking about how that person's answer means something about us. This requires work, and once you know how to do it, you'll be able to calm your mind and make questions your superpower. First, before we get to the questions, we have to prep our mindset. So we go into conversations with these two truths out in the open. First, we don't know what other people are thinking. We might think we do because we've mapped how people act and we see patterns, but we really don't know what people are thinking and processing. Second, we have to be interested in their life, in their opinions. We have to realize their opinions, likes, dislikes, fears, desires are probably different from ours, and we have to want to know what they are. So having a desire to know what someone else is experiencing and understanding that we don't know is the key to making the most and really honestly connecting with someone else. Y'all, these two things are not insignificant. Most people avoid conversations with people because they falsely believe they know what others are thinking, or they don't want to hear it because somehow it challenges their own sense of self, or they feel insecure to know this other person believes or desires something different from them. This is why people don't listen. But we're all going to be listeners. We're going to ask questions wanting to know about the other person. And if we have this mindset, our teens will start talking to us. They'll know we actually care. And we aren't threatened that they like whatever they like or threatened that they are different from us. As a coach, the most powerful tool I have is the power of my questions. I know how to stop my clients and ask them a question that helps them gain clarity and control that they don't have. And it's from an early client I learned to never assume I know what the answer is. Years ago, I was working with a client who was in a crisis situation, and I knew a fair amount about the situation. She was trying to make a decision about stopping life on one path and taking a completely different path that would disrupt a lot. Her mind was swirling. I stopped her and asked, What are you most afraid of happening? Now, I'll tell you, I really thought I knew what the answer would be. She responded, though, with something completely different. And I could feel the peace in her and a changed and determined mind. I really didn't think much about the exchange, and I only know the power of that question because she brought it up multiple times over the year or two after, saying how that question and her answering, knowing what would happen if she didn't make a change, that one question changed everything for her. And it always humbles me when she says it because the change came from her and from me not assuming that I know what she was thinking or even the right opinion for her. I didn't question the validity of her answer. Good questions make the other person look inward and assess what's going on for them. Our job then is to listen and accept and believe what they say. Okay, so we've set the foundation, our mindset going into questions. Another piece of the foundation going in is our teens need to trust us. They need to know we won't make fun of their answers and also that we won't share any information that they share. Without trust, we have no relationship. Our family loves would you rather questions. Would you rather live only at the beach or only in the mountains? Would you rather have no taste or no smell for the rest of your life? Would you rather have no voice or have to sing everything that you say? Just recently, I was on a long car trip with my husband and sons, and we got into like an hour-long would you rather. It was so much fun. We kept on coming up with better and more outrageous choices. Everyone had to answer, and in many situations, we answered differently. We'd then start explaining the reasons why we would choose one extreme over another and why that would be important to us. Again, we all had different answers, and we all had very valid reasons for what we liked, reasons that revealed something about our personalities. It was playful. It was fun. The questioning and answering was like a dance that creates connection. So I highly recommend maybe you look up some would you rather questions on Pinterest or online, download a page, ask those if you would prefer those to the questions on my website. But what you'll notice from the 100 questions that I've prepared is that they are open-ended questions. They aren't leading in any way. You want to make sure your tone of voice is light and casual. You want to project that you don't want or need your teen to respond in a certain way. You want to be full of curiosity. A leading question is, so you like pepperoni on your pizza, right? A curious question is, so what is your favorite topping on a pizza? Make the question short and easy to understand. Then, after you ask, be fully prepared to listen. Allow silence until the person answers. Of course, you don't need to make it awkward. If they aren't used to you asking probing and curious questions, you may need to ask maybe several days in a row to start the exchange. But allowing the silence and being okay as they turn inward and internally question themselves to find the answer is an important step in this process. Then be open to any answer. I find in these moments, I have to calm my mind and make sure that I don't say anything. I remind myself over and over, anything they say is okay. I want to learn more about them. A few nights ago at dinner, I asked my daughter, if you could choose one teacher from this past year to be a teacher next year, who would it be? I paused, then her answer totally surprised me. She mentioned a teacher I didn't think she wanted to have again, a teacher I heard the most complaints about this year. Now, this is important. I didn't say to her, oh, that's surprising. I didn't think you'd say that. I didn't want to project even a hint of judgment. I did say, oh, tell me why. I wanted little judgment in the way so she'd be open to explain her thinking. And she did. And it revealed something that I didn't know about a desire she had to be in a different level class. We then had a nice discussion about other teachers that she had this year and she actually will have next year and what she likes about them. It was a nice exchange. I knew more about her after a few minutes. It was simple and it connected us. I want to repeat again, mainly also because this is work I'm doing daily and a very weak muscle that I am trying to strengthen. It's important not to make comments that reveal some sort of judgment that we're making on their response, on their opinion. Comments like, "Oh, I'm surprised you'd think that," or "I'm surprised you'd want that." Comments said like that with a critical tone project judgment and immediately make the other person feel the need to defend themselves. Non-judgmental comments can be, "Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that about you. Tell me more." Or saying, "I'm surprised I didn't know that about you." Remember, we don't want to say, "Oh, I'm surprised you like anchovies since you only eat boring food." When we say, "I'm surprised I didn't know that," we're placing judgment on ourselves, not on the person answering the question. Sometimes when one of my children expresses something that I'm holding my tongue to make some sarcastic comment about, I just have to say to them, "Oh, I just love you and everything about you." And I leave it at that. This is a way of listening and believing what people say. These subtle communication tools help others feel validated and are very important relationship building blocks. When we can allow that our teens are different from us and we don't make it mean something bad about us, our children feel safer to be themselves. They feel more secure and confident. They can tell we don't need them to be a certain way for us to feel anchored and secure. So I challenge you to spend a portion, just a few minutes, solely focused on asking a question, listening to the answer, and believing what the person says. Download the 100 questions from HeidiBenjaminson.com. Just ask one a day, then ask another. Prime your mind to hear and learn about others. Don't assume you know what they're thinking, and be interested in them. Everyone feels more connected to someone who is interested in them. That's it for this week. If you would like personalized weekly private one-on-one coaching to give your own family the gift of your confidence, sign up for a consult call at HeidiBenjaminson.com. A confident mother is the greatest gift to her family, not a perfect mother. Our families want us to feel confident, anchored, and calm. I can help you uncover this version of yourself. Have a great week.